A YouTube show about comics where we're not trying to grift you? Why, it must be 7 Minutes with Kevin, and I'm your host, Kevin Michael Lowe. Hey, what's up, party people? Welcome back to a new episode of 7 Minutes with Kevin, where I'm interviewing who's been unanimously declared the worst person in the world, Nikolai Fomich, a comic book writer. His short story, The Colorblind Cannibal, was a finalist for the Platform Comic Short Story Contest in 2020. Which brought on the pandemic, and his next comic book through CEX Publishing, Flowers for Henry, is coming out in stores now, which is very soon. You'll probably be seeing this the same week if I don't screw the pooch. Nikolai, how are you tonight?
Good. I'm just worried now if the first comic brought on the pandemic. Who knows what that was 8 pages. Who knows what 20 pages will do? So hopefully,
right, exactly. And Flowers for Henry, it's a comic book about a ghost child as well. So thanks. I guess like Nick, like we've known each other for a little bit. Like we took some comic experience classes together. We're in a couple like little group chats and everything. My first and probably most important question is, how dare you?
Well, Kevin, like everything, I just approached it and said to myself, how will Kevin feel about this? And if the answer is like it'll annoy him or it'll kind of get his goat, then I'm like, let's do it. That's kind of how I went about this as well.
It's working. I mean, like if that's your plan, like it's giving you a very wonderful, successful career so far. My next question is, how much did your parents have to pay for Andy and the team at CEX Publishing to get your comic book printed and put out through them?
Just lots of lots of love, lots of like true appreciation and a couple high fives, and that did the job.
Oh, just high fives? Really? Oh.
You would be surprised. Like a solid high five. Some people just really can't high five nowadays. Yeah. I mean, it's becoming a lost art, to be honest.
I mean, I know that for a long time I was known as a high five guy when I first came to this town. It's very interesting. So like I know like, you're supposed to watch the elbow and other stuff, but no, I get that. And like another question I have is just like, how does it feel to be Fred Van Lente's second favorite student, since I'm his first one here, according to Ryan Dunleavy?
Well, here's the thing about Fred is that Fred can do no wrong, and if Fred says I'm his second favorite student, then I'm a second favorite student. And I just hope that I'll continue to write more comics and hopefully work my way up so that someday I will be a favorite student.
I believe that's called a fat chance, but I'm not sure. But no, this is like on a more serious note. How rad does it feel to actually like have a book in previews, like people ordering it, going into comic shops? Like I begrudgingly pre-ordered it myself, so I'm going to be picking it up in stores now. Huh? Oh no, this is I'm organizing a burning of them at my comic book at the comic book shop.
Okay, good. Yeah, as long as you buy it, then
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh no, it's amazing. It's very surreal, but what's interesting is that because it's been such a journey and a process that it feels less surreal than I would have expected it to, because I've taken all of these steps to get to this place. So if this had happened to me in like 2020, it would have been more mind-blowing. But it happened to me in 2022, still is definitely surreal, and I'm very thankful, and it'd be amazing to go into a comic shop and see my book there for the first time. But I think that taking the classes, having something published, working with Andy and Paul and Fred and everyone at Comic Experience, and just getting to know people and getting to know more people in the industry, and it just feels kind of almost natural, like a natural progression of how things are going. But it's so that's the surreal factor. But in terms of like the thrill factor, it is pretty amazing, be able to walk into a shop and see my book on the stands like you were able to do with Gnarly.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. I can tell you, like, when getting on the stands was great, and then when the comic shop was like, oh, we need more copies because we sold out, like that was even better. And then like one day I hope to sell out like you do, I'm sure. So it's like give me the Marvel, DC, maybe not, but like just give us the money,
Yeah, sure, we're ready.
Yeah, exactly. So like what else do you have going on besides Flowers for Henry? Is there anything else, like other works you got going on, or
Yes, for
anything
sure.
you want to share?
Um, I have just written my first mini series. It's 4 issues. I developed this for the past year and a half or so. I took three classes with Fred, and I wrote it with for a class with Paul. And so I've taken a long time to develop this called the Silver Sage. If
Mm-hmm.
I just said that revealed the title. Um, uh, and it's about a woman who discovers that her producers unleashed real dangerous magic into Hollywood, and this is as she's trying to make a career comeback. She had this struggling addict, and now she's making a second comeback in Hollywood, and she has to figure out what to do and navigate this complex situation. So I just wrote that, and in talks just to find a collaborator, which is going
Cool.
well. So we'll see how that turns out, and I'll be happy to be back on the show to share more about that when I
Well, this
can.
is going to be the second interview, but I'm sure the ratings are going to tank. So we'll discuss that later. But Nick, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I know we joke, we jest, but I do have some respect for you, and I'm saying that because the check is cleared from your wife. Is where can we find your stuff at online or anything? You got a website, just like Twitter?
You can find me at I begrudgingly admire kevinrowe.com. No, I'm kidding. No,
No,
you
I'm
can
going to
find
buy
me.
that domain right now.
Okay, go ahead. No, you can find me on Twitter, Nikolai Fomich, or you can find me on Instagram, Nikolai Fomich. And yeah, again, I have a couple things in the works. And yeah, thanks so much. And I can't wait to be back on to share my new comic.
Excellent. All right, man. You take it easy. Have a good one. Take it easy, dudes.